Welcome back, everyone. It's your boy Luis Portelles, and today I am so excited because I am here with the beautiful Christi McGarry. How are you doing, Christi?
Such an honor to meet you virtually. I mean, I met you before, but having this opportunity to come on board and talk to you today.
Oh my God, the honor is all mine. If there is one person who could take me out of interview retirement, is you, basically.
Grabe naman. I'm so grateful. Shucks.
Of course. And I know, actually, a lot of people have been requesting for me to have this type of conversations with the candidates this year at Miss Universe Philippines. And you are a name that comes up pretty often. So how does it feel to be back in pageantry and to have so much support from people watching you from all over the world?
I mean, it's hard to explain or put into words. It's just been so exhilarating, and I couldn't be more grateful just to know, after taking a hiatus in pageantry for almost a decade. It's been 9 years since Binibini, as most of the fans know. And just to imagine that there are still these diehard fans since then that were still counting on me or hoping for the opportunity just as I was to come back and, take my shot at the Miss Universe crown. It's just an overwhelming amount of gratitude that I feel that I just have this support system, and I just want to make them proud, to be honest.
Absolutely. I can only imagine. I mean, the how overwhelming it must be to make a comeback and have the people who were supporting you a couple of years ago to still be there for you and believe in you just as much as they did back then, right?
I know you wouldn't imagine after taking such a long break, and for most of us thinking that I would never have the shot again.
Yeah.
That there was still this glimmer of hope for some that thought there still might be a possibility. Even myself, there was something inside of me that was this little flicker of a flame that just said maybe there's still a chance. Somehow the rules will change or stars will align, and miraculously somehow this year it did. So I'm grateful.
Absolutely. Okay, so you basically have experience in pageantry before. You are one of those girls who is really loved in the world of pageantry here in the Philippines because you represented the country internationally twice, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, actually, maybe 3 times if you count top model of the world, but that wasn't more of a pageant. A beauty pageant. It was more on the modeling competition side, but it was still an international competition.
Absolutely. So now coming back to the pageant arena once again, competing at nationals, how does it feel? Do you compare the feeling with what you felt back then when you were still competing, or this is like a whole new experience, basically?
Competing internationally or competing nationally for Binibini? Or you mean competing
Nationally first.
Nationally. Okay. It's very nostalgic. All the emotions have come rushing back, the adrenaline, the competitiveness, but also the fun in pageantry, getting to know all the girls. It is all very similar, and but at the same time, we're in a different climate. We're in a different generation. So going against girls that have a different point of view or perspective, coming from a different generation, and still being able to be myself or bring what I have to offer to the table. It's hard to compare, but at the same time, it's still very the same. Binibini was different because the aspect of social media wasn't as prevalent as it is today. But at the same time, as we know, social media is an amazing platform. It's an opportunity for us to showcase who we are authentically to the world at a much click-based level, or at a quicker level. Because back in Binibini, sponsor visits or a lot of the activities, they were not broadcasted, they were not showcased at real time. So now all the fans get to follow along. So it's a fun dynamic, but I'm just taking every day and learning every day. It's still a learning experience for me, and I feel like a newbie all over again, to be honest.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And I mean, as a pageant fan myself, I am just so excited for you to come back, to see you in motion, knowing that you're one of those girls that has a legacy, but also has so much to offer right now. It's just amazing to see you. And actually, I got to see you in person for the very first time during the press presentation of Miss Universe Philippines. And I remember sitting first row because I was asking questions and I was looking at you and I was like, this woman is a standout. So I'm so excited for everything that you're delivering and that you will deliver in the next couple of days as well.
Thank you. That means a lot, especially coming from you. I value your opinion so much. As you know, there are so many astounding and amazing pageant bloggers and fans that have been documenting our journey, but you're definitely someone that I value your opinion the most. For you to say that means a lot, trust me.
Thank
Because
you.
you've seen a
Thank
lot
you,
of beauty
Christi.
queens in your day, so coming from you,
Yeah.
it means a lot. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And I will be seeing you again. There's more activities to come, so for sure I'll see you in person again.
Yes, you will. It's not done. I mean, we're edging toward the second half of the competition. Time has been flying by so fast. And yeah, it's just a couple days till coronation. So the jitters are definitely there, but we're just taking everything day by day.
Awesome. Okay, so I want to take you back to a couple of months ago. Basically, when we think about it, just over a year ago, you were technically not eligible to compete at Miss Universe Philippines or Miss Universe because of the age restrictions back then. What went through your mind the moment that you find out that those age restrictions had been lifted?
Wow. It was just a rush of emotions. It was just like, this is it. Like I mentioned earlier in the interview, the stars are aligning. This is divine timing. There's something that's telling me that that dream is not over. It's not finished. There was something reaffirming that there is no time limit or time expiration to your dreams or when you're allowed to achieve them. And I'm just so grateful that the organization took that step in that direction after, spreading the inclusivity to mothers and to women that were already married. That was already a great step for women to realize, like, why does my position in this world or in society have to stop or be restricted according to my marital status or whether or not I'm a mother? But the question still, existed between not only myself, but between a lot of my friend circles. Like, if they're lifting these restrictions for these types, why wouldn't they do it for age? Because ageism is a thing. And I was like,
Exactly.
yeah, you know what, you're right, but who knows, like, it's just something that I never thought that would happen, but I thought it would be a possibility. If they started making these restrictions or releasing these kind of restrictions, in my head I said maybe there is a possibility that they're going to take it one step further and they'll release the age limit, and then they did. So I was flabbergasted. I kept it to myself for a while. A couple of friends had approached me and asked if I was going to do it. I never gave them a definite answer until I got pushed by a couple more friends. I still knew in my heart and my soul that I wanted to and that I was going to. I just didn't know when was the proper time to announce it or to reveal it to my friends and family. But yeah, eventually when I found the gap was getting closer to registering, I knew that it was time to make the big reveal and announce to the world and to myself that I was ready to do it.
And we are so happy. We are so happy that you did. I remember like it was yesterday when they were when the entire rollout for the announcement came out, when basically you had the press presentation, like the little media gathering where it was going to be announced who was going to represent the gig, and I mean we were all elated with the news.
Yeah, I think there was rumors that were fluttering and floating around already.
Yeah.
So to confirm those rumors, I think it was pretty exciting for the pageant world, especially for a comeback from 9 to 10 years ago. And I also kept telling myself, if I didn't join, it would just be one of the biggest regrets of my life. And I'm someone who, I come from a background of always wanting to push and believe in your dreams or always following your passions, especially coming from a fitness and wellness background, someone that always is encouraging my community to chase after the things that they're passionate about. And if I didn't do that for myself, then I wouldn't be practicing what I preached and I wouldn't be sipping my own medicine. So I knew I would regret it if I didn't join. So I knew I just needed to take that massive leap of faith and take the journey and the ride for what it is.
Exactly. So Christi, can you walk me maybe through that thought process of going from, oh, now I am eligible once again, to okay, I'm actually doing this. I'm going to execute. I'm going to push for Miss Universe Philippines. So from the moment that you learn, I can do it again, until you start reaching out to people, designers, and building a team of people, what happened in between?
Okay. So when I first discovered I was eligible, I started reaching out one by one to some of my closest friends and mentors. Well, some of them have actually, like I mentioned, approached me first.
Yeah.
Asking, are you ready? Are you doing it? Aren't you doing it? And I was like, I think so. I think so. I was like trying to, seesaw my way, weighing out my battles and my sacrifices, because as you know, I already have a career that I built over the years in the industry. I have a travel show that I'm extremely proud about, and that I would hope and want to continue afterwards. But I understand the sacrifices that I needed and would have to make to become Miss Universe. But there was no doubt in my mind that I would make any sacrifice to do it. It was just about letting go of all the other things that I had been working so hard to build, and taking a break from those things, including my DJ career, my modeling career, my hosting career. But after, getting the blessing and having the trust from some of my closest friends in the industry and my mentors, I knew that I was ready. I knew that I would be in great hands. I knew that I would be building a team on my own independently this time around. So it all started with mini stepping stones, slowly revealing between some of my closest friends and family that I was going to do it, receiving their excitement and their blessings. But along with that also obviously comes a lot of expectations, which does make things a lot more difficult or a lot more pressure driven. And then it just started with planning to work with some of the best creatives in the industry that I've worked alongside so longly and built relationships with over the years. And just planning to enjoy the ride and just dive straight back into the pageantry world, which a lot of my friends also have not or don't partake in for a while. They're just like, whoa, we support you, but this is not exactly what we do, but we're excited to bring the fashion, to bring the creative industry to the forefront, and to support me on the journey. I couldn't be more grateful. I'm just happy to showcase art and Philippine talent at the forefront of my journey along with me this time. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
So exciting. And okay, so from 1 to 10, since you got to build your own team and everyone who's on board, how proud are you of your team and the work that they have done so far?
How proud am I?
Yes, from 1 to 10.
Well, of course, I got to give them an 11, which is my lucky number. Because honestly, like I mentioned, my team actually it's just a group of friends and supporters and mentors and consultants that it's not like a very structured, this is this and this and this. It's a collective of my friends in the industry that I'm pulling advice from, that I'm, pulling designs from, asking opinions from. It's never just like a 1 or 2 set of people or 3 set of people at all or all times. My journey is extremely unique. My team is unique. The amount of opinions that I'm taking from multiple sides for multiple events are unique. There are different people within different industries or creative backgrounds that I'm combining when I feel is necessary according to what event. It's such a beautiful collaboration. I couldn't be more grateful to just, to have these people by my side and supporting me after knowing how much I'm sacrificing to be in it. So that's what it's like. It's hard to pinpoint how to explain who's contributing what, because it's so many people at so many different times. But yeah.
I can imagine. So they're doing an incredible job. So shout out to the entire team, because y'all are killing it.
Yes, loves. You all know who you are.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see more throughout the journey, especially during finals. So
Absolutely. So Christy, I love that you talked about basically the pressure and the expectation that comes with the crown, and we're gonna talk about that just in a second. I want to bring your attention to, earlier you mentioned about the ageism and some of these things that are a little bit controversial. When it was announced at Miss Universe that the age restrictions were lifted, realistically, a lot of people were very happy with these changes, just like other people who are a little bit more traditional, who don't like as much change within pageantry, were not so on board with it. Since you are someone who who basically was affected directly by this change, you benefited from it. How would you try to change their mind, let's say to someone who doesn't approve of the changes?
Love everyone who has that specific opinion about not approving of the age restriction being lifted to just put themselves in one of our shoes or in their own shoes for thinking that they couldn't achieve something because they were restricted by their age. I don't think people are empathetic enough to people's passions, to people's opinions or biases. I don't think enough people are thinking about how we feel and how amazing and a blessing this opportunity is for us, and how much people of any age have to showcase to the world. I mean, especially people that are, above whatever age restriction is limited, they're limited to. I feel like with age comes so much maturity, comes so much experience, so many life choices that we've learned and have grown from that other people can benefit from. So I would just love for them to be a little bit more empathetic and to put themselves in one of our shoes, or to put themselves in the position where they feel like their time ran out. I don't think that's fair for anyone. And I don't think anyone should be limited to that. So,
Very true.
Anyone's capabilities are limited by their own, their own personal fault or their own personal restrictions of their beliefs on themselves. So no one else should restrict anyone in what their capabilities are except one's own self. So no one else should. That's how I really feel.
Absolutely. And one thing that I can say as a pageant fan, I mean, I know not everyone follows pageants as closely as perhaps some of the, real pageant fans do, or content creators, because we try to keep up with everything. But I find that these changes have brought such a refreshing change in the industry. You get new perspectives. You get women who basically have a lot more experience, maturity, who have a career, who are not necessarily like figuring out what they want to do. Sometimes they already have it, figured out, and they're just coming back to show a different side of them or to highlight certain things that they want to put forward. So I think it's a positive change. And when you think about it, you always learn from the people around you. So for these women to be in contact with a younger generation, and for the younger generation to be in contact with women that have more experience, it's a win-win situation for everyone, which at the end of the day is supposed to be the core of pageantry, right?
I 100% agree with you. I just think even being surrounded by my fellow candidates and batch sisters, it's just been such a beautiful experience. And some of them call me ate, which I'm just like, oh my god, chill, but it's true. I am ate, but I also take that with a lot of pride, and it's super sweet. And I would hope and would love for them to come to me for any advice, for some of the girls to tell me that they look up to me. It's just so immensely heartwarming and kilig. It just means wow, these girls actually look up to me. When in retrospect, I actually look up to some of these girls for being so brave, for putting themselves in the position that I was. It's so humbling, and it's very resemblance to what I've been through. And I know what a lot of these girls are going through. And I also think that they think that us comeback queens are also brave. So it's this beautiful exchange of appreciation and, like you mentioned, of learning from one another, and from, gaining knowledge and experience from one another from different aspects of life. It's a gorgeous exchange.
Indeed. I couldn't agree more with you. So now let's talk about a little bit about the pressure and the expectation of it all. So of course, as I said earlier, you're one of those girls who had managed to make history for the Philippines in pageantry. You are so loved by the pageant fans. So coming back to Miss Universe Philippines, did you feel at any point that you needed to live up to the things that you had done before in pageantry?
Wow. 1,000,000%. I feel like, and I'll be transparent with you because I want to be honest with you or all of my fans or anyone on my journey. I want to be authentic and as genuine as I can be, in allowing them in on my journey and allowing them to be a part of it. The expectations and the pressure were so high, and that does add a different dynamic to my journey or me entering. I wasn't entering as a fresh, young, fun face like I did in Bini Bini and was just like, woo, like I was enjoying the ride. When you're in your 20s as well, your outlook on life are just a little bit different. You're taking everything as you go. You're learning. Not to say that I'm not learning now, but now I'm coming from a place where I've always been competitive, but I'm coming from a place where the expectations, like I mentioned, are high. And the bar has been set so high. And of course, you don't want to listen to all the pageant bloggers or the comments. But there are people who are mentioning, you can't help but listen to even from your mentors or scanning a few comments that comparing my journey from my last time to this. And the expectations maybe not necessarily being met. But I also started to learn, and I think a lot of the fans or people, even my family and friends, have noticed that when I stop letting that expectation or that pressure get to me, I start to have a little bit more fun and be myself, like I did in my first term, then it shows. And I want to give that advice to even my fellow candidates and the girls, and I've been also telling them this, that please just have fun. Please enjoy this ride and this journey moment by moment and not let the pressure eat you up, because it will destroy you and it will show. So that's my one advice to myself and to the other girls. It would be that.
Absolutely. I mean, we know that going into the competition, pretty much all of the delegates who decided to join, the ideal outcome for them is to win the title, to win the crown of Miss Universe Philippines and represent the country. Do you ever worry about the outcome of the pageant in terms of like, do I get the crown, or am I okay finishing in the top 5 or top 10, or I just want to place, or is it really everything or nothing for you?
Well, Luis, it's 100% all or nothing for me. All of my eggs are
Which
in
is
one
okay.
basket. Like, I am fully invested. Like I mentioned, I sacrificed. I'm sure all of these girls did. I can't compare my journey or how much I've sacrificed to all the other women in the pageant. I know all of us are on equal footing as far as how much we want this and how much we sacrifice, but just what I can speak of personally, it's everything for me. I can't describe or explain how much I want it, how much I dreamt about it for years.
Yeah.
There's this fire inside of my belly and my heart and my soul that just tells me I have this purpose to fulfill. And whether I win the crown or not, I know I'll still keep following that passion to want to inspire and to give back and to, spread my advocacies and to help promote and bring pride to the Philippines, regardless of the crown. But I know that with the crown, I'll be able to fulfill so much. And it is all or nothing. I know if I don't win, it would be heart-wrenching. But I am mature enough, I think, at this stage in my life that I'm willing to accept whatever comes my way. Mm-hmm. I know what destiny means, just like when Pia won, it was her destiny. And I'm fully aware of who's deserving and who deserves what at what time. Divine timing is a thing, everything at its right place and time. So I can just only hope that my manifestations come through, but win or lose, I'm in a place where I'll be content with what happens.
Yeah. And I love that you have this perspective, Christy, because realistically speaking, I'm just asking this question to get basically your state of mind. But realistically speaking, you are a front runner in the competition. A lot of people, myself included, we see the potential in you to be the next title holder. So I can only imagine what goes through your mind, like where your heart is at with all of this entire process, where you are seeing yourself being compared to so many other incredible women in their own right, but at the same time you want something as badly for yourself, right?
100%. At my age, Luis, like I mentioned, I'm not a young spring chicken anymore. I know I might look like one sometimes, but I'm at the stage in my life where I won't compete again. Mm-hmm. This is a now or never situation for me. This is, like I mentioned, all my eggs in one basket. This is me sacrificing my career, everything that I've worked so hard for. and just hoping that I come out victorious with the crown, just so I can do more with it, more than I've already done without the crown. I'm really proud of what I've been able to build after my reign, after Beanie Beanie, even without the Miss Universe crown. But if I had that crown, the one that I've wanted since then, I could do so much. And I just know I could bring global pride to the Philippines if given that opportunity. So
Absolutely. I think I even mentioned it during one of my videos that basically, in my mind, like me kind of like projecting, I imagine that for you, this was such an important moment in your career. Because as you said, I mean, coming back to pageantry, I imagine it's not an easy decision after you haven't joined pageant for a couple of years at this point. You already have an established career. This is not like someone who is just gonna join for fun and see what happens and maybe get the experience and they know they can join again in a couple of years. It's like you already have a life. You have a lot going on. So going back to pageantry is not a light decision. So you must be really sure of what you want, how badly you want it, and what you're willing to put on the line to get it, basically.
100%. You said it to the T. Yeah, it was a massive decision. That's why I think it took me a little bit longer than I initially thought I would to fully accept the challenge to compete again, just because I knew how much I would be sacrificing. But like I mentioned, there also wasn't a doubt. It was just about weighing every option, and my passion and my drive just kept directing me in the same direction. So here I am.
Indeed. One of the things that was said, in the very beginning of Miss Universe Philippines, what this year's batch of candidates is one of the best batches that we have seen ever at Miss Universe Philippines. You're going against fan favorites, veterans, fresh faces, and everyone has something unique that they bring to the table. What can you tell us about the dynamics of the girls behind the scenes? How do you manage so many different personalities and girls with so many different talents all in the same room?
I think it's amazing. I think this is the most exciting year ever. And this is coming from being a pageant fan myself. Like, I've been watching all the pageants, Beanie Beanie, up to when the franchise got separated to Miss U, since I did Beanie Beanie. And I've always been a pageant fan. I've always followed along. I've always had my little, personal favorites. And being part of this batch, if I were on the outside looking in, I would be just like, how am I going to choose? Like, I don't even know how I'm going to choose.
Yeah.
It's honestly such a beautiful, dynamic mix of women. And, coming from being a quote unquote veteran and seeing, as you mentioned, comeback queens, but seeing all these amazing fresh faces that are hungry and just totally have the capabilities to take it all as well. It's just exciting. It's like the Super Bowl. But the problem is I'm competing. So
I see the potential in y'all, but let's get it right.
You already know. So I need to always still focus on myself and put myself first and have my game face on and just do my best. But at this rate, it really is anyone's game. I'm so proud of all these girls and how much dedication that they're putting in. Like you mentioned, there's such an eclectic mix of different personalities. Everyone is bringing something completely different to the table. And it's honestly, I think, just going to come down to coronation night and what the judges see, that magical little spark that night on stage. Because if you were to judge us or to meet us all individually, we all have something really beautiful to offer to the table in different senses and different demeanors. We all bring a different spice or flair in our own right, not even just physically, but personality wise as well. So it's just going to come down to the night, and it's an exciting time to be alive in the pageant world. So I hope the fans are just as excited as we are to be a part of this legendary batch. I think this batch will go down in history.
That's the word, legendary. So girls, we just gave all the girls their flowers, basically. We acknowledge their beauty, their talent, everything that they have to offer. Now, let's give you your own flowers, Christy. So, in your opinion, what is it that sets you apart from everyone else? And this doesn't mean that other girls don't have it whatsoever, but in your humble opinion, like what do you have to offer that is unique?
I think what sets me apart, like I mentioned, all of us girls, I feel are genuine in their own right. I feel like they're authentic in their own right. But I personally feel, and I hope that if not the judges during closed door interview, but also anyone that I come across or that I meet can feel this ease and this sense of self-awareness that I know that if I was given the crown, I would be able to carry it with grace, with maturity, with a global understanding of the world. I feel I'm pretty well traveled. I feel like I have a pretty strong sense of knowledge and of awareness of the people around me. And I just think that's something that would benefit me on the international stage, not just as Miss Philippines, but for the opportunity to win Miss Universe.
Indeed.
I feel
And
like
the look, girl, the look. That time I saw you at the press presentation, I couldn't take my eyes off you.
Oh, thanks. I mean, I super appreciate being acknowledged for my physical appearance. I do know I do have a blessed advantage with my height. Thank you, Dad. My dad is 6'4". He's a basketball player, so I do have this, pretty towering height. One that I was very ashamed of while I was younger. If you've seen my interview with Adam before, but I've grown into it. It is an advantage for me, and I am also extremely proud, super proud to showcase my morena skin. I feel like we haven't had a morena queen in a while. And I would just love to be that representation for those morena girls out there in the Philippines, especially when I first came to the Philippines and learning that, I was too dark for certain things, or I was told I was too dark, or them even changing my skin tone for certain jobs, and me finding out after and post edit. And I'm just like, well, that's not my original color. Like,
actually
I'm
look
proud
like
of my
that.
color. Yeah. Even my mom, I love you. But she would warn me to stay out of the sun because she was raised in a generation where, of skin whitening or being fair or lighter skin or whiter skin, was a sign of wealth or social status. And I just want that to change. I really want that. It's already changed. Now you see in the industry so many people, I'm getting booked for my skin color and people are appreciating and loving my morena skin tone. And I just want that to be more enforced. And I would just love to be that representation for all those sweet little tan morena brown girls all over the provinces. I just want that so bad. I can see the way that they look at me when I'm out there. I just can tell that they can see themselves and they see it's like Barbie. When you don't see a Barbie that's representative of you, you just wonder why not. And I feel like when some of those, little morena girls see me and they see that, I don't think there's a feeling that's more rewarding than some of those looks of adoration that I get from some of those girls. And I'm just happy to represent them. So that's my edge.
And just like you mentioned, I mean,
I think I'm pretty smart. I think I'm pretty smart. I think I can hold a conversation. I think I'm well versed, and I think I can carry myself in any room. So I think that's my edge.
Absolutely. And I mean, I love what you said about the representation, because you also mentioned that, things have changed and things have evolved, and nowadays society is a lot more inclusive and accepting. However, we all have that one auntie or that one neighbor who still has, kind of like old-fashioned mentality, who is not scared to pass certain comments. So up until this day, although let's say little girls, little morenas might be getting certain comments, that are uplifting and positive, there is still a certain stigma and certain stereotypes that still might affect them. So the representation is always welcome. It's always well received, and it's very necessary also.
Super, 100%. 100%.
One thing I also mentioned in one of my videos is that basically the winner of Miss Universe Philippines will be competing in Mexico. So Mexico is a Latin country. They also have their own beauty standards, the things that they like. And if, we kind of trust the trend at Miss Universe, a lot of the judges will normally come from the host country. At least some of them will be invited from the host country. So I think it's also important to keep in mind to select a girl that will be understood basically and appreciated in a Mexican type of context. And I think you have that. I mean, being a Latino myself, I know what we like, and you are definitely the prototype of girl that is well received and appreciated in Latin America. And by the way, did you know that every time that Miss Universe was held in Mexico, the Philippines never managed to obtain a placement in Mexico. So that is a little bit of a challenge right there
That's
for
more
whoever.
pressure.
Yeah, indeed.
I'm up for a challenge always, though. You already know.
She's ready. I love it. Okay, so Christy, now coming back to pageantry and going into the preparation and facing the challenges and all of these things, what has been the most difficult part of your comeback to pageantry?
Aside from living up to the expectations, I think that's been the most difficult. I think emotionally or mentally, this kind of like mind game going in, thinking that the expectations were set so high and the bar was set so high for me, and the pressure of not fulfilling that. That was what I think in the first half of my journey was starting to get to me a little bit. Other than that, it's just got to be time. Yeah. Remembering what it was like to have personal time. But because back in Beanie Beanie, our schedule definitely wasn't this strenuous. It was packed. It was heavy. But like I mentioned, it's been almost a decade since I've been in the pageant scene. Maybe I'm a little bit rusty in knowing that this is how it works. But it has been extremely time consuming. And just finding the way to make sure that you give yourself the proper rest and self-care, which is super important for you to upkeep your mental health and your mental stability. And I want the girls also, if anyone's watching, to just remember to put that first, regardless, your health and your mental health. And because there's so much pressure and stress that comes with this competition, that might be it. And I think, just counting the days until coronation night and just wanting to know who's going to win.
Yeah, it's right there, just around the corner. I can't believe it. It's been it just passed so fast.
It did. Time flies. I mean, the first half, you just think okay, we still have, we still have 2 more months to go. Then 1 month passes. Okay, we still have, a month and a half to go. Now it's it's just days. It's like
a
weeks.
Matter of days.
Time is flying. It's flying, guys. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess. But yeah.
Can you tell me which one of your performances so far are you most proud of the challenges that we have seen in person?
You know what? I was happy with my swimsuit performance. Mm-hmm. I just felt like it was one of the first times that I just felt myself. And I was by the ocean. I just felt like I was in my element. Maybe I don't have the sassiest passerella at the moment, but I just felt like I was being me, and I just felt happy. I had supporters there. Mm-hmm. I know I still have a lot to improve. Time, like you mentioned, is a factor. So training is super strict. There's just so many things happening at one time, but I just felt like that was a part of the competition where, like the advice I told you that I would give myself earlier is where I would start to have fun and loosen up a little bit. And I think it showed a little bit. And then I had a lot of fun in an old fashion show. I also love my performance at NatCos. Like I mentioned, even if I didn't make top 3, the winners are completely deserving. There were so many amazing costumes this year. It was just mind blowing. I was just like,
I know.
If I was a judge, I have no idea how any of them could decide, because anyone could have taken it. Everyone was so gorgeous. Everyone was so performative. But I just felt like I was in my moment. I felt like I was giving couture avant-garde, and I was letting my inner supermodel show. So whether you guys like the performance or not, I loved it.
Absolutely. I feel like nowadays pageantry is becoming more and more purposeful in the sense that whenever the girls decide to join, there's a message that they want to put out there or some things that they would like to represent. For example, when Michelle D competed at Miss Universe, she made sure to wear always Filipino designers to, represent in every single moment from, the daily outfits to the national costume to the final gown. Is there a theme for your Miss Universe Philippines journey this time around?
I don't know if you've noticed a little bit already, but aligned with my advocacy, which is
That's a big hint. Oh my God. You got to hear, guys. Exclusive.
Now you can't air this. No, I'm just kidding. My designer's going to kill me.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I usually, when I do this type of interviews, I don't like to ask the girls too specific questions about their gowns and stuff because pageant fans have to understand there's a whole team behind this and the designers get involved and it's not always up to the girl to give away details, right? But what I do love to hear is that there is a message, that there is a concept that the girls want to push something forward, because pageantry is more than just pretty gowns and beautiful faces. Otherwise, it's just like so empty, right?
Totally. And especially coming from someone who's always been in the industry, who's highly appreciative of the arts, music and the arts, or just, I definitely wanted to come in with this journey with a concept or with conceptualizing ideas and, making the journey an art form in itself and like letting this journey progress and tell itself as a whole. So I think I've been doing a good job so far. There's still so much more that I want to share and release. Yeah, I just hope everyone's enjoying the ride and enjoying the artistic aspect of what I want to bring to pageantry as well.
Indeed. I will take the liberty to speak on behalf of the people. Yes, we are enjoying it. So another thing that is really extraordinary about you is that you have access to so many legendary, iconic beauty queens that are so loved in the country and even internationally because of your history in pageantry precisely. So did any of them give you any tips for your Miss Universe Philippines comeback? Whether you want to mention their names or not, it's up to you. But did you get any tips for the competition?
Yes, I've gotten a few tips from some of my friends, mentors, more so on a friend level because they are my friends. But I guess I won't say who. Maybe it's better to keep them anonymous. But definitely one of the biggest tips, which is something that I've also tried to now share with my batch sisters, is to have fun, enjoy the moment. And another one is to not let, how can I say this? The pressure or the idea of favoritism of certain stronger fan bases or whatever's happening get to you. Even myself as a front runner, admittedly, there are different aspects of the game this generation that play parts. There's fans, there's loud noises on social media coming from different places. There's sponsor picks and sponsor visits. And there's all these things that can sway your personal opinion of yourself and where you stand in the competition to either feel like you're not doing well or what does it mean? And I think I've gotten advice from amazing people that just mention it's always going to come down to coronation night. So regardless of how well or anyone's doing throughout the competition or who the favorites are at what point in time, myself included, it's anyone's game until coronation night. There are a bunch of queens, black horses that have won the night of that weren't fan favorites, that aren't super active on social media, that, that came out of nowhere and they were completely deserving and they shined brighter that night than anyone else. And I think that's just what's going to come down to. So it's just going to come down to whose passion or sparkle in that soul will radiate the loudest the night of coronation. And I just wish all of me and my sisters well. And I know we all equally want it, but whoever's deserving, whoever's destiny it is, it will belong to them.
And I think it's so important. Just like you mentioned, to be able to cancel the noise and basically the messages that you might be getting from the outside looking, as you said, maybe is there favoritism towards certain people? Some others might have a little bit more support on social media, stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, it boils down to you as a person, your potential, what you have to offer to the organization of your own self, how you can collaborate with the sponsors, and how you can just make the most out of the platform. And I mean, that's already in you. So I hope my prayer is that for coronation night, your mindset is clear, that you see your own potential, that it's already in you. You don't have to look for it or compare yourself to anyone. It's already within yourself. And just enjoy it, because when you enjoy it, we can tell. And as part of the audience, I mean, I had the opportunity to go to many pageants all over the world. I had the opportunity to judge a couple of pageants, and it doesn't matter if you're part of the audience or a judge, you want to enjoy the experience. And if you can tell that the girl is enjoying it on stage, you enjoy it with them. So just keep that in mind. Smile and have a good time.
Exactly. You mean I will take your advice, and that is very valid advice. And like I mentioned, advice that I would give to my fellow batch sisters as well. It's just about focusing on yourself, not being comparative, focusing on your own personal journey, and doing your absolute best. Nothing else you can do but be authentically you, and see if that's what the organization wants, and if that's what the universe wants.
Indeed. And I won't talk about DMs or anything, but I do want to say publicly that you are one of those girls that I really respect, because you basically are humble enough to sometimes, ask for feedback or ask, is there something that I can do better? You are willing to listen when you know that it's constructive, So I really appreciate you for that. And I really hope, that's why I'm saying that I hope that you know that the potential is already there. Sometimes everyone has to tweak certain things here and there, work on minor details, but the potential, the core of it is there already. So
thanks, Luis. That means so much. But you're right. I do, by the way, always accept constructive feedback or advice from any of the experts or even my fans, just because I have been out of the loop or not in the pageant industry for a decade. I value people's opinions that care about me or that want to see me do well. I trust their opinions. My journey is authentic to me. I'll still do things that I still feel is right for myself, but I don't mind receiving the constructive criticism from any angle, as long as it's not malicious, or as long as I know it's coming from a good place.
Indeed. So, Christi, I have two last questions for you before I let you go. I'm so thankful for your time, for your energy, for your good vibes. I had the best time talking to you. So, two last questions, if that's okay.
Okay.
The first one is, as we have talked about, during this conversation, you're already a successful woman, established, loved, appreciated in this industry and many others as well. So why do you still pick pageantry as a platform for empowerment?
Pageantry has been stereotypically been judged for being something that was anti-feminine, or actually being the opposite of being empowering to women. But I think the beauty, especially of Philippine pageantry, is that this platform is so massive, an opportunity for us women to not only uplift one another who are competing with one another, but it gives us this pedestal and this platform to speak and inspire the entire nation. Whoever wins Miss Philippines, she becomes an icon, a legend, as they would quote.
She's an icon. She's a legend.
She's a legend, but not just as like a fashion or beauty, icon or legend. We're talking about someone who is influential, someone who has the power to make change, positive change in the country, and then hopefully in the world, and being able to represent the Philippines on a global scale and put us on an international level and platform, just so we can showcase the pride, the beauty, in my case, also the nature of the Philippines. And it's an opportunity now, especially with the inclusivity that the organization has brought upon, for us to share that any age, shape, size, cultural background, status, marital status, orientation, we are allowed to be that representative for a global unit. It's such an amazing year, an iconic year to be a part of this, and to show that no matter who you are, you have the opportunity to make a change and a difference. And it's just going to be the person that can, I guess, uphold that responsibility with the most ease and natural ability that'll be able to do it.
And the very last question for you, basically, if you were crowned as Miss Universe Philippines, what can the crown do for you, and what can you do for the crown? That's a little bit of a cryptic question right there, but it's up to you to answer it in any way that you would like.
I think that question actually, the answer to that question, goes hand in hand with one another. What the crown can do for me is provide me a platform to be able to inspire and encourage, so many Filipinas or Filipinos in general to, live up to their dreams, to follow their passions, to be able to be a global spokesperson for the Philippines and the organization, and to live up my advocacies and be able to make massive positive changes in the Philippines, which I really, really hope I have the opportunity to do. What I could do for the crown is, of course, be that voice, be that next generation of beauty queen to uphold and to transcend the organization to another level, especially with its new owners. This is a new era. I just saw Shani say earlier in a previous interview, the new era of Miss Universe and Miss Universe Philippines. And I just think I'd be the perfect representative to take the organization to a place where we can be proud of it, and to make Miss Philippines or Miss Universe on a global scale as a global woman to just represent it to the fullest with class, with genuinity, with empathy. And yeah, I just can't wait to do that. And I hope I'm given that opportunity. I would be so excited and privileged to do it. I'm absolutely ready to do it. And I just hope I have the trust from the organization and from the fans, the Filipinos, to give me the opportunity to do that.
Indeed. I am crossing fingers for you. I'm praying for you and sending you always nothing but the very best vibes so that you can accomplish this and all of the dreams that your heart desires.
Thanks, Luis.
Christi, can you please tell us, before you go, how can the people support you? The next couple of days are perhaps the most important of the entire competition. So is there anywhere where people have to vote, help you in any way on social media? How can they do that?
Well, there's a bunch of places to vote. There's so much online voting going on right now, guys. There's one, the Gel Life, or you can also purchase packets of the Crystal Gel and Gel Life, which also allows wins you one vote. There's Zonrock's voting on Facebook, on Miss Universe Philippines Facebook. There's also the Keyman's Challenge, which is also happening. The Personality Challenge, which you can also vote on. And there's also the Swimsuit Challenge on the Miss Universe Philippines app. And there's also Bingo Plus on the Bingo Plus app. So if you took down your notepad, hopefully you can vote for me across all of those platforms. I know it's a lot to ask for, but every single vote counts. There's so many amazing prizes within each of those voting categories. I'm pretty sure with Bingo Plus, you get an iPhone 15. And if I win, I get 250,000 pesos cash, money. So, who doesn't like a little bit of cash in their pocket after
Indeed
how much sacrifice that all of us girls have made throughout this competition. And of course, you can follow along on my Instagram. It's Christi.McGarry. I have a hashtag crowning Christi. And I also have a Facebook page, and there's also at MUPH_Taguig, because I am proudly representing Taguig, and I'm so thankful to Taguig for all of their support, and so proud to be Taguigueño and representing BGC. So
super love it. Everyone, please go ahead, vote, follow, support. If you don't, I'll grab my tsinelas and I'm gonna fight you all because you're supposed to be supporting these incredible women. Christi, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for your time. I know that, as we said, right now, these are the craziest, most hectic days, and you just came back from so much travel, so you must be exhausted. So I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk to me. As I said, just enjoy every single moment. You got this. You are incredible. And regardless of whatever happens during finals, crossing fingers for the best. But whatever happens, you are already a star and you have a legacy and you have accomplished so much. So you will forever be in our hearts.
You are so sweet. Honestly, thank you. It's been my absolute pleasure. It's been my absolute pleasure to partake in this interview and to speak with you on a personal level. And I'm sure we're going to continue many more conversations off cam. But I'm always grateful for your time, for your advice. I want to thank you so much for all that you do for the pageant community. You're just a star in yourself as well. We love watching you, by the way, me and my mentors. You're just amazing. Yes.
Don't make me cry now. Char.
keep on doing it, and and keep on sharing the support for us and for me, for all these girls. It really means a lot, and your passion really shows as well. So we're just grateful for you. The entire pageant community is grateful for you as well.
Thank you, Christy, from the bottom of my heart. Sending you all my love, and I will see you very, very soon in person. I will be there at some of the events, so I'll give you a hug in person.
Air hugs for now.
Yeah. Thank you, Christy.